Welcome to Stories from the Center of the Universe, the podcast about the human experience.
All right, we're in that weird part of the NFL season where we won't see a football game for 2 weeks. And then that game will happen over the course of about 3.5 hours. And then we won't have football for, 7 or 8 months. But we do have fun things like the draft that for people like my son, I think is more interesting than the rest of it for him. But we're not going to say the F word tonight. And this is also, we're nearing the transition of Rob being the keeper of predictions and Zach early retirement from that. And then Rob will never give it back to you, Zach.
It's all right.
With that transition.
If Zach ever wants it back, he can have it back. I mean, come on.
We could always use 2 just for backup.
Yeah, I mean, if y'all want to roll that way, that's fine. Sounds good. All right, Zach, how did we do? Or I can actually tell you what happened because I remember.
I was about to say, you know it by heart.
You and Rob took the safe picks. Jack and I went out on a limb.
Oh, wait, safe picks.
Yeah, well, what does that mean?
You took the favorites in both games.
Does it count if we didn't know that they were the favorites? I'm not looking at betting odds.
I was going to say, yeah.
Make these predictions.
That's fair. Okay, so yeah, if you're ignorant of who was predicted to win or who was favored, then yes, you were putting yourself out on a limb just by not having information for the game. That's fair enough. I retract my statement. Yeah, and then Jack, did you change to the Rams?
I picked the Rams originally and just stuck with it.
Yeah, and I did the same thing with the Broncos. All right, so let's talk about the Broncos game. We'll take these in the order they were played.
Real quick, I'd just like to say that either one of those games could have gone y'all's way. I mean, I know we're going to talk about it, but, there were things that happened that it could have easily, gone the other way. So.
Yeah, they were both close games, and you knew Seattle and LA were not going to blow the other one out, and I suspected a game in Denver, it was going to be low scoring, 2 good defenses. I didn't know about the weather, but Sean Payton certainly should have known about the weather, and so if he knew a storm was coming, was likely to produce a bad field, and the inability to kick field goals because the crosswinds in Denver are horrible this time of year, especially with a storm. So I'll go to Jack. Should they have kicked the field goal in the first quarter that they went instead of going forward on 4th and 1.5?
I mean, first quarter, I don't mind the aggressiveness. I understand like wanting to take points and stuff like that. I don't think many people knew about the weather at all. That's why I kind of feel like if you can go out there and get points, then I don't mind you taking it there. I think later in the game you need to get points, but the first quarter you can obviously recover much easier than the third or the fourth quarter.
You've got time to recover, but I hope Sean Payton knew the storm was coming, but anybody thinking that Sean Payton was going to go a different way, he's one of the most aggressive coaches in recent football history. And Jack and Zach, y'all may not remember the Saints Super Bowl win over the Colts, but he onside kicked to start the second half. I mean,
I remember that. So
anybody saying he should have done something different, there's no way that guy was going to not go for it. I mean, I knew he was going for it as soon as they fell short on 3rd down.
Well, Paul, I think you bring up an interesting point. I mean, that and they actually, like Brady and what's-his-face talked about it some, that they'd not seen anything like that. At least Brady said he'd never seen anything like it. Was it Brady in that game? Was he the?
No, it was Romo.
Sorry, my bad. Romo said he'd never seen anything like it, and he deferred to the other guy because he'd been around longer, and he recalled one, but a game. Romo was basically a game of that magnitude. He'd never seen the field change the way it did, and you just bring up an interesting point. I don't know if they knew it was coming because it was such a huge change. I mean, they showed one graphic. That field was green in the first quarter, and you couldn't even see the numbers in the late third quarter. I mean, so I don't know if they knew that thing was coming that fast, at least. So
well, there's got to be somebody for both teams.
I agree. Yeah,
obsesses with the weather. If they don't, they have zero experience in January. And let me just say this about Romo. And I think Romo's an okay commentator. I think Brady's actually better. I think he's gotten a lot better than he was last year. Romo has one playoff win or is it one playoff appearance or something? Like, he has no playoff resume to speak of. Brady
Right.
has the best resume of all time. And so you would think that whoever carried that game, CBS, I guess it was CBS, could get somebody better than Romo.
No, I would agree with you. I mean, yeah, Romo from time to time he broaches on. I say stop being like Collinsworth, because he sometimes says some things that are just not smart.
Well, or it just gets really attached to one or two players and just
One or two
gushes
things,
about
right.
them the whole
Yeah.
game. Like, you want to go on a date with the guy? What's going on
Right.
here?
Yeah,
Josh McDaniels is the bravest, most amazing offensive coordinator in the history of time. It's the way Romo was talking. And
Mhm.
and that little sweep quarterback action for Drake May that sealed the game, May called that and didn't even tell his own team. But Romo was gushing about McDaniels being an amazing play caller
Mhm.
and being so gutsy. And that's actually not a gutsy play. It's a smart play, but I wouldn't call it gutsy.
Yeah.
Zach, is it entertaining to you to watch Rob's camera move around? And so we can only see the top of Rob's head.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong. My camera's also making me look like I'm 8 miles away tonight. I don't know why. So,
What are you on? Are you on a pad?
phone. Oh
Okay.
yeah, I'm sitting on my bed. Yeah, I'm on the phone.
Yeah, all good. All right, Zach, any comments on the Patriots Broncos game?
I mean, it was a pretty boring game, so there's not much to talk about. It was a great defensive game, but I don't know how much of that was part of the weather or part of the backup quarterback situation in Denver. Drake May didn't have a phenomenal game in the air, at least, but on the ground, he went like 10 for 65 and a touchdown or something like that.
Yeah,
He had
Yeah,
one
he was
really
great. He
nice
was great on the
28-yard
ground.
run that led to the eventual game-winning field goal. I think it'll be different in the Super Bowl. Obviously, the weather will be different. I don't know where the Super Bowl is this year.
It's in San Fran.
San Fran. Yeah, so obviously it'll be a lot nicer. The offenses should be more exciting. That's all I got to say. I don't know.
Yeah, the NFL doesn't like having rough weather for conference championship games, but they've come up with a scheme that rewards the higher seed. And so, yeah, if that happens to be in Denver in late January, then that's what it is. And I agree. The second half of that game, especially, I'll call it the last quarter and a half of that game, was like almost unwatchable. And the only reason it was watchable was the stakes were so high, but it was not
good.
football to watch.
Good defenses are fun to watch, but most of it was just the weather, not necessarily the defense.
Yeah, to your point around the weather, I think, and to all of our points around the defense is good weather. That game's probably 17-13, something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think either team gets to 20 in that game with good weather. Yeah, what a weird score for any football game, but a conference championship is kind of a bummer to watch. All right, but no, by the way, let me get this out of my system. I can't stand the fact that the Patriots are back for the 12th time and no other team has more than 8. I mean, I like Brady now because he won a Super Bowl in Tampa. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to stand the guy. And there's nothing he's done wrong. He just wins too much. He wins at life too much. I mean, good for him. But the Patriots had the easiest schedule, the easiest regular season schedule. And then I saw this thing somewhere on social media says, and then in the first round of the playoffs, they played playoff Herbert. Playoff Herbert's not nearly as good as regular season Herbert. And by the way, Herbert actually had a great season considering how bad his offensive line was. Then who did they beat the next week? Houston, who threw a gazillion interceptions, right? And then they play for the backup in the conference championship. I mean, it's the easiest path to the Super Bowl I can remember in recent memory. Can somebody give me an easier one?
I can't give you an easier one, but I can add to yours. You want to hear this? I saw one. It showed their schedule for this year, and 10 asterisk 11 being week 3 when they played the Steelers. And it's questionable, whether Tomlin left on his own or where it was a combined decision. But 10 of the weeks that they played against a team that fired their coach this year.
That's crazy.
Isn't it nuts? So if you want to throw Tomlin in there with an asterisk, 11 out of 18 weeks, the teams that they played, they fired their coach.
Well, it's
should've been
11, it's
12.
11 out of 17 games, right?
It
17,
should've
11
been
out of
12
17, yeah.
because we should have fired
Right.
Mr.
Well,
Bowles.
on the little, yeah, you're right, Zach. And on the little thing, it put if it didn't fire, it put like well, it said the Jets, and then it said the Bengals, and then it said NFC South. Those were like the only ones that didn't fire their coaches or something. So
bad team, and then 4 bad teams.
yeah. I mean, and of course, except for the Jets, everybody else that in the East they played twice. So the Bills and who's the other one?
The Jets and the Dolphins.
Dolphins.
Yeah. So Dolphins and Bills farther, so that's 4 games, but everybody else, it's crazy. So yeah, I still think they're partial paper tiger to me, but
Well, I mean, they're in the Super Bowl, and so
I know. I hear you.
should we even be questioning the path? But I think that it's at least interesting how easy it seems. And of course, I'm being a hater, and if I wasn't a hater, I wouldn't be bringing this up. But yeah, I can't stand the Patriots being back in the Super Bowl.
I don't mind bringing it up because I'm a definite hater and I can't stand them. So,
Jack, your thoughts on the Patriots?
Yeah, the path is easy. I think Vrabel is a really, really good coach. So I'm not going to take away from him at all. I think the defense is playing really, really good. I think they're exceeding expectations or any expectations that occurred. I mean, it was just a hard-fought game. The weather obviously made it interesting, and then it just became who could kick a field goal with snow underneath your feet. So the Patriots were able to do it. The field goal for the Broncos got blocked. I don't see the Super Bowl being super close. I don't know why people are upset about the line being like 3.5 right now in Seattle's favor. They think the Patriots should be favored, and I think that's ridiculous. But I'm not going to take away from the job that Vrabel's done, and it just is a really, really bad look for Tennessee at this point because you've already turned over multiple coaches and didn't want to help him, and he already got a team to a Super Bowl in the first year at a new franchise.
Yeah, it's a great reminder. Vrabel's a very good coach. The Patriots are lucky that he was available when they needed to move on from their old linebacker, Gerard Mayo, or Jared Mayo, whatever his name is. Yeah, all right, let's move on to the other game. Much more pleasing game to watch, certainly more scoring, more compelling moments in the game. I'll let Rob, you start with your reaction to that game.
Yeah, I mean, I said in the beginning, this game could have gone either way. No matter who it is, like suffice to say, even felt bad for that young kicker for Baltimore when he missed the field goal that would have beat us to send them to the playoffs. I mean, it's just an inherent, thing where we have just feel bad for people. So I feel really bad for that punt returner for the Rams. He had muffed one earlier in the game that he recovered. So he was definitely having problems that day. But I don't know if he could have gotten out of the way when he was falling down. I don't know if the ball just hit him, but he did try to catch it. So I think at that point you just try to roll out of the way and let it bounce. But felt bad for the kid. Great, incredible performance. Wish I'd bet 300 plus yards and 3 touchdowns each for both quarterbacks. I might not be on the podcast because I might be in Cancun right now, but just a great game. And like you said, the polar opposite of the first game. So great game. Hard for a loser to come out of that one. And I think if what happens, I think what's going to happen, then I think that was almost in a way technically your Super Bowl. I think either one of those teams would have been favored against the Pats. So
Zach, who's going to win the MVP? And then who comes in second and third? And I think we all know it's going to be 3 quarterbacks probably.
Yeah, Stafford's going to take the MVP. I don't even know who's in the conversation because it's been Stafford pretty much the whole way.
Well, Stafford, May, and Darnold's getting some love here recently.
May will probably be number 2, and Darnold will be number 3. Darnold's got too many turnovers.
Yeah.
May's got his stat line doesn't look great either on the turnover front.
It doesn't, but
I wonder.
it's not even worth talking about because Stafford's going to win it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Darnold
if you
has-
asked me halfway through the regular season, which I think we did talk about, I thought Jonathan Taylor should have been in the conversation. But
Yeah.
that
I agree with that.
I think
So,
sneakily Christian McCaffrey should be at least top 5. With the stuff he did, like he was their only offense for a big chunk of the year, especially with all of his receiving yards as well. I don't think he's getting the love that he deserves this year after being injured last year.
Yeah, if you played to your potential the way McCaffrey did the last third to half of the season, and you do that across the other 21 starters on your offense and defense, San Fran's in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think if they're not injured on the defensive side of the ball, I think they put up a much bigger fight in a lot of the games that they had this year.
And I'm saying even with the backups of those injured guys, if they played, I mean, McCaffrey is special because he can do everything at an extremely high level. I mean, his ceiling is crazy, and he was living at the ceiling for several games, to your point. All right, Jack, your reaction to the Rams Seahawks?
Yeah, once again, Matthew Stafford played a tremendous game. Easily, his defense and special teams lost him that game. Matthew Stafford could not have played any better in the 2 games that they've played against Seattle. They both lost. He's thrown over 60% in those 2 games with 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. They're up like 14 or 16, whatever it was the first time, which they could have gotten the 1 seed off of. They lost. They gave up a bunch of points in 8 minutes. And then the special teams and defense, they just I don't think that they did them any favors that game. I'd also say that 4th down, you have to go for it, so I don't disagree. But you cannot throw it to Parkinson in the back of the end zone. That has to go to Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua, or Devontae Adams. Like, nobody else should touch that ball whatsoever, in my opinion. Wasn't a fan of the play call. I love that they went for it because they should have. I mean, you kick a field goal and then they drive down the field again, and then you give yourself no time. So it's frustrating there, but I mean, Matthew Stafford, I think he's the clear MVP based off the way that he played that game Sunday.
Yeah, I think Stafford, when we had that weird conversation around Super Bowl quarterbacks, and I was qualifying it saying if you have a really good team around you and you happen to win the Super Bowl and you happen to play quarterback, that doesn't necessarily make you a Super Bowl quarterback. The Rams are as good as they are mostly because of Matt Stafford, at least on the offensive side of the ball. I mean,
last week, did you say Darnold was or wasn't the Super Bowl quarterback?
I don't know. I keep changing. Can't keep track of anything I say, Zach. I mean, we have these recordings, but I
should have written it down.
I think I said he probably wasn't, and he's about to be crowned Super Bowl champ. And I don't know. Is he a guy who's along for the ride, or is he a big reason that could potentially win? And I think he's a big reason they could potentially win.
I was going to say, I mean, his play the last 2 years, he's been a top 5 quarterback the last 2 years if you combine both seasons. Which is weird to say.
Yeah, they were talking
especially
about it.
He started his career.
Yeah, they talked about it. I wonder if they said the game against the Rams was his best game of his career. I wonder if he had it 2 weeks too early. So we'll see how he shows up and performs in the biggest show.
Yeah, I think the Patriots defense is better than LA's.
All right,
Agree with that.
we're going to talk about coaching moves here, unless we've got other comments about that game, and then we'll talk about we'll preview the Super Bowl. All right, the first one, that most of these make me laugh. Atlanta picking up a Cleveland Brown fired coach. What in the world? Please, Zach, it's in our division. Please help me make sense of that move. Why would Atlanta pick up Stefanski?
I've heard from most people that it's actually a good hire, that Stefanski's a good coach. It's just a dysfunctional organization, and I don't know if I disagree with that. I think Cleveland is such a bad franchise that they could make anybody look like a bad coach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's also just a bad roster. I mean, he didn't have much to do or much to work with this year.
Yeah,
he has Myles Garrett.
He's got a good defense, but they never got enough talent on the offensive side to win games.
And that was reflected in almost all of their games. They were all low scoring.
Right. So I heard that the Browns, when they are searching for a head coach, and they may do this for other positions as well, but you have to be interviewed by like basically everybody you could interact with in the entire organization, and they make you write an essay. They make you take an intellectual test. like aptitude tests. I mean, they put you through the ringer. I'm like, maybe you should question that process because it's never worked out for you guys. You've never hired a good coach except for Belichick, and you didn't realize what you had when you had Belichick there. And I think Saban was the DC on that team. You had two like all-time studs as coaches, and they passed all your silly tests, and you didn't hold on to them for very long, and certainly not long enough. Robert, Jack, any reactions to Stefanski in Atlanta? If I were y'all, I would say, who cares?
The only thing I'll say is I've heard good things about Stefanski, and I think I agree with Zach. I think it was he's just at a suck franchise, and not that Atlanta's that much better. They're a little discombobulated, but maybe he can go in there and do something. I mean, you definitely got an upgrade at running back. Probably most of the offensive positions you have an upgrade. So,
well, I'll say this about Stefanski: there was rumbling that he had lost the locker room, a lot of noise around he and Shador didn't get along. People that can pass all of those intellectual tests, people that pass those intellectual tests at that level, I'm not taking it away from him. He's apparently a really smart guy, but really smart guys have a tough time interacting with other human beings, and they have a tough time of having a good vibe and a good culture in the locker room. And so I'm guessing the team culture is not going to be great in Atlanta here soon.
Yeah, we'll see. You also got to factor in Shador and who his dad is and all the entourage that he has all around him.
Yeah, but somebody who knows how to interact with people could handle that.
You're probably right.
You said he didn't get along with Shador, allegedly. Did the owner take that into account?
I have no idea. No clue.
All right. I was just thinking, who cares what Shador thinks?
No, I don't think Shador had a vote. I don't think
years.
Shador had a vote. I think it was sort of representative of Stefanski losing more than just
larger
Shador.
Locker room as a whole. Okay.
Yeah. All right, Jack, reactions to Baltimore firing Harbaugh and then the Giants picking him up. I mean, the Giants got lucky, I think.
Yeah, that's by far the best hire out of the coaching cycle, and it will be the best hire no matter what else happens. I mean, the way that he's talking for that team right now, it's got all the pieces that he wants with the run game and how physical that team can be at times. I think they just needed the right guy to kind of steer that ship. So I love the hire for the Giants. Like I said, I think it's the best hire of the entire coaching cycle, and it will be.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I agree with everything there. I think I'm guessing Rob and Zach do as well. But if you have a different perspective, Rob or Zach, please share it.
Yeah, I mean, with the way that division kind of swaps winners every year, I wouldn't be surprised if they were competitive or maybe even won the division.
Yep, fair point. All right, Rob, I'm going to give this one to you. I had not heard of this guy until I pulled up an internet article on new coaches for teams going into the next season. Who is Jeff Hafley?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah, Jack or Zach, do y'all know who he is?
I have no idea.
No, I think he's defensive sided minded, but that's about all I know.
Yeah, Miami's not.
Where's he going?
He's going to Miami.
He's a former wide receiver who was the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. Well,
but he's defensive minded, what I read.
I don't know. It just says former wide receiver.
Okay. Interesting.
Hold on. I can do some research.
Robert Saleh, I'll give you this one, Rob, for comments. Robert Saleh goes to the Jets and then is a DC for a year, and then he's now in Tennessee. He is a glutton for punishment. I'll start out by saying that about that move.
Yeah, I'll start out by saying that at least he's in a cool town. I wouldn't want to live in New Jersey or New York. No offense, Zach, you're in a good place, but I wouldn't want to be involved in one of those franchises, like he was. So moving to Nashville and coaching the Titans, I think at least he'll have a better life. Yeah, I mean, he was, I agree with you, glutton for punishment in reference to the franchises, but, maybe I think he's got more to work with in Tennessee than he does with the Jets, but.
I think at least the Titans are trying to win.
Yeah.
I don't think you can say that about the Jets.
Yeah.
Jack, what do you know about Jesse Minter, the guy going to Baltimore?
that he won a bunch of games at Michigan defensively as the DC through their like multiple years of cheating, and then
Friendly
And-
reminder: Jack and Rob are Ohio State fans.
Attaboy.
and then I mean he's called great defense. Well, like for the defense that he's had, like there are some special players like Derwin James at the Chargers. You got Khalil Mack, you got Joey Bosa. He's called very, very good games for him this year. I think that he's actually single-handedly kept them in the games, in low-scoring games, because of the way that the offense has been for the Chargers, because they weren't great with all the injuries between like Najee and Amari and Hampton and the tackles that we always talk about. So I think that it's a good fit for him. And the way that that defense was this year, I think it's good that they went defensive-minded because the offense is always going to be there with Lamar and Derrick Henry. That defense needs to get cleaned up. As a Steelers fan, I'm not excited to see him twice a year because I think the defense will be much improved. But with that being said, I still think we'll be fine.
Have you heard that there's now supposedly some beef between the owner and Lamar? Or am I the only one who's heard that?
No, I did hear that.
It sounds like Lamar may be the problem. Yeah,
Well, there was a report that came out a while ago that I had read where everyone within the organization wanted him to play, and like the doctors were going to sign off, although he wasn't fully healthy or healthy enough to play. And he was like, no, I'm not playing. And so I don't think the owner likes him for those reasons.
that makes sense. All right. Well, we have two more to discuss. I don't know which one's going to be more entertaining for me. Y'all saw that Buffalo hired somebody today, right?
I did not.
Brady, right?
Yeah, their offensive coordinator. All right, let's get the Bills out of the way. The offensive coordinator for the Bills is now the head coach because not even a high school football coach who happened to be an NFL quarterback for a long time, he withdrew his name. That's how bad he knows the situation in Buffalo is. You're left with just promoting your OC to head coach because nobody outside that organization wanted to come into that dysfunction. Am I wrong?
I don't think so. Who was the guy that withdrew?
Philip Rivers was seriously interviewed and he withdrew from the process.
Oh,
Really? Oh
did
my
he have a
God.
realistic shot?
I think he did because nobody else wanted the job. I think they were thinking about pulling the trigger on Rivers, but he pulled himself out of the process. Jack, is Buffalo done? Is the Josh Allen era over given the dysfunction that you actually were talking about last week that I hadn't picked up on yet? You were an expert last week on this whole thing.
I won't say done because I genuinely believe that Josh Allen is one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback outside, like maybe top 3 for sure. So I would never say done. I would say that they need to. The fact that they promoted a dude that couldn't scheme his wide receivers open is a little concerning to me. You just can't scheme. If you can't scheme open receivers, you know that they can't beat anyone man to man, but then you can't scheme them open. That's a little concerning. I don't like the front office. There was a video that came out saying that the GM was talking about Keon Coleman and how they were going to get Keon Coleman, but then the owner says that it was the staff's fault because Sean McDermott wanted Keon Coleman, and then all that's going on. So you threw a dude under the bus. You fired him for losing a game because what he said was we fired Sean McDermott for losing to Denver. Not because he had the best record in the NFL over the last however many years with Josh Allen, but because they lost one singular game. It makes absolutely no sense to me why they would have fired him in the first place. I think Joe Brady will be fine, but I don't think that they'll hit what they've been doing under Sean McDermott.
Yeah, and I read about that with the owner. Basically, you're an owner of an NFL team and you throw a 22-year-old kid under the bus like he did. I mean, that was just horrible. And I mean, I think that speaks about his leadership. And if you need to look at the discombobulation in the Bills organization, I think you start with him.
Yeah, it's amazing. The media still never blames Josh Allen for anything. Like I think I agree he's a freak athlete, but he doesn't make a lot of great decisions during games.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're making consistently, I'm not saying he's making like over half the decisions he makes are bad, but he makes 1 to 3 bad decisions in a game, and that's the game. You lose the game because those decisions weren't too good. And he turns the ball over a fair amount, but nobody wants to look at him at all because I guess he's so athletic and does such freakishly good things that you can't imagine not having that guy as your quarterback. But he's got to make some improvement too. All right, let's go to, I don't know who wants to go first between Rob and Jack. McCarthy to Pittsburgh.
Go ahead, Jack.
No, you got it. I need a second.
So, so definitely shocked at first. Wondering why. I personally was really big on Chris Shula. I thought he would have been a good fit. I think, Chuck Noll took over when I was 2 years old, and that's all I've known is 3 coaches ever since I could comprehend what a Pittsburgh Steeler was. And so I would, like to have somebody like Chris Shula who could come in my mind is just going to, coach for 10 or 12 or 15 or 20 years, and take me, pretty close to when I'm going to, possibly leave this earth. And that would have been good with me. But, now I've heard a couple things. I mean, I didn't realize that McCarthy was apparently such a quarterback whisperer. So, if he, Jack brought up the point about, which maybe I'm stealing his thunder, about the relationship between him and Rodgers. So maybe that helps him, Rodgers come back for another year and then gives him the chance, which I would like to see, is develop Will Howard, because I think Will could be a good quarterback in the league. I don't know if I have to see him. I don't, in that atmosphere, everybody says he could be the next Roethlisberger. I'm not sure if that's true or not. That remains to be seen. But anyway, so it's a short-term solution in my mind. I think he's, a 3 to 5 year guy. Jack, I'll let you speak to the assistant that's coming in, that could be the heir apparent, but if that's still happening, but go ahead.
Well, what I would like to happen is I would like to have them hire Shieldhouse from the Rams to bring in to be the OC, to be the eventual head coach, now that we're trying to trend towards more offensive. And I put that in like quotations. So it's Mike McCarthy. So I really think that they only hired him to bring back Aaron Rodgers for 1 year. It is a 3 to 5 year deal. He's definitely older in age than what we're accustomed to when our last 3 coaches have come in. They're going to give him time. They're not going to fire him for a couple of years. I mean, we're going to be 9-8 again, so it's nothing out of the usual. I think how good we're going to be is really going to come down to the coordinators that he hires and who he brings in. I think that's going to be the biggest decision, because Mike McCarthy has been a head coach for a long time, so I'm fine with him. I'm not happy, but it's fine. I mean, he just reminds me of an offensive version of Mike Tomlin. So if we bring in good coordinators, I think we're going to be much, much better or more improved. But I really think that the signing was done to bring Rodgers back for another year so they didn't have to draft a QB in this draft class.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's what they were leaning towards doing. They were looking at the kid from Oregon, and then when he decided to stay, then for God's sake, they were looking at Ty Simpson, which would have made me question being a Steelers fan, actually. So if we had drafted his butt.
Yeah, if McCarthy, as this whisperer, also means he can develop young talent, and Will Howard has the potential, I agree that he's a 3 to 5 year coach. He doesn't get me excited about the Steelers winning the Super Bowl, though. I don't see that happening, but I've been wrong plenty of times in my life. Just ask my wife. But he didn't do well in Dallas, and I think they had some real talent while he was there. They had a really good offensive line. They arguably had a good enough quarterback. I don't know what to make of that move, but it's probably it feels like a 1 to 2 year move that'll end up being a 3 to 5 year thing, and then they'll go somewhere else. But I did learn that when he calls plays, he's got that giant laminated play sheet. Somebody told me it's actually an Applebee's menu.
I've seen that joke before. That's hilarious.
Sorry, that was a retread. My bad. right, Rob, any other fun facts before we talk about the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they're actually related to the Super Bowl, so I'll break the ice. So when the Patriots arrived in Foxborough in 1971, does anybody know what they were originally going to be called? They were going to be called the Bay State Patriots, and the name was rejected because people decided to point out to the organization that the abbreviation would be the BS Patriots.
That would fit.
Yeah. So, and then on the other side, the Seahawks. You guys may or may not know. I was trying to figure out how to make this a trivia question for you, but it's hard. Well, yeah. All right. Well, the Seahawks are the only team to have done what?
No idea.
Boys, any idea?
Nope.
No clue.
They're the only team to have played in both the AFC and NFC championship games.
Nice.
They were in the AFC
Yeah, they
Yep.
were
or
AFC
the
West.
merger.
AFC
Yep.
West in 76.
Yep. So AFC championship game in 1983, and then they moved to the NFC in 2002. And of course, they've been to multiple NFC championship games in there. But
Yeah, and that move was probably made when the Texans became a thing.
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that was
You
that
can
was
fact check
Houston.
me. Sorry, this is off the topic of the Super Bowl, and then Zach, get ready because I'm going to come to you to get your Super Bowl thoughts. I saw something online where this host, it's a 2-man thing, and he goes, "Who's the most powerful quarterback in the 2025-2026 season in the NFL?" And the guy threw out names you would expect. Powerful, I guess, having the most influence and playing well. And the answer was Geno Smith. Now, why would Geno Smith be the most powerful? The team he left is going to the Super Bowl, and the team he went to is getting the first
First pick of the draft.
overall.
That's
Think about
hilarious.
that. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Oh, my goodness. All right, Zach, thoughts on the Super Bowl?
I know you guys have been talking smack about the Patriots all year, but I think it's going to be close. I don't know what you guys think the score is going to be, but I think it's going to be closer than we think. I still
All right,
think
well-
Seattle's.
We'll do predictions at the end. Just give us your thoughts.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I think Seattle will take it. I think they're the better football team. I think a lot of people were saying LA versus Seattle was the real Super Bowl.
Mm.
The NFC has just been, especially the West, has been a lot more competitive than any AFC team has been. We've been used to the dominance of Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo,
New England.
Cincinnati to an extent. And for whatever reason, consecutively, they all fell off this year, which led to some other teams having success. But I still think Seattle's the best team,
Yeah, Jack, your
or
thoughts?
the better team.
Yeah, I think Seattle wins. I'm not sure I would say comfortably because of the way that the Patriots defense is playing and the way that Vrabel coaches. So I'm not going to say comfortably. I wouldn't be surprised if they win by a touchdown or two just because of the way that Seattle is. They're just very, very good. I would probably expect a little bit of a low-scoring game because the defense is and the way that they are. But, yeah, I do believe Seattle's going to take it.
Yep. Rob, anything to add beyond the sneeze?
It was a cough. Thank you. Sorry about that. And no, I mean, the only thing I have to add is the Seahawks better win, even despite what I might have to listen to Pee Wee say for the next year. But I cannot have New England win and break the tie with us on Super Bowl wins. So, plus, we were talking about how this will be their 12th Super Bowl. If they lose this one, they'll be 6-6. So, it's not a very good winning percentage, if you ask me. But
What's Pittsburgh? 6 and what?
6-2.
Oh, wow.
Do you know who the only multi-win undefeated Super Bowl team is? Undefeated in the Super Bowl?
I'm going to assume that's
No,
the
I think
Tampa
there's
Bay
two.
Buccaneers at 2-0.
Yeah.
I think there's 2.
Who's the other one?
In Baltimore 2-0.
Oh, you're right. I forget that every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
And no offense, but what I would say to that is that that doesn't qualify for statistical things because you've only been to 2.
No, that's fair. And Zach will remind me or anybody else talking about this that we still have the lowest win percentage all time for the franchise. We are in last
In
place.
all American sports.
Oh, I'm sorry, All American Sports.
All American sports?
At least before Brady, it was that. I don't know if Brady changed things. He might have.
Dang.
Y'all saw the video of the young Jets fan saying, "I hate the Jets, but because my dad likes them, I have to like them." Yeah, that's Zach.
For the first 20-ish years of my life, I guess, yeah.
Good times. Yeah, I think the Seahawks win. I think they win pretty handily. So let's transition into what we think the score will be. I'll go first. I'm going to say 31-17, Seattle. We'll go in reverse order. Rob, what do you say?
I say Seattle, and I will say I'm going to say 24-13.
All right, nice. Jack.
27-17 Seattle.
Zach.
I'm going to go 30-20 Seattle.
Okay, so I think we all just said double-digit scores, wins. Yeah, to a point I think Jack and Zach were making, you can't go through a much easier path as the Patriots relative to what the Seahawks went through. It's not night and day. They're really not even comparable. You would expect the Seattle team to win 99 times out of 100, but that 1 out of 100 could happen.
That's why they play, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's hope not. Let's hope not.
All right.
Did anybody see this coming? Sam Darnold, when they signed Sam Darnold?
No.
When they got rid of Geno and said, we'll take Sam Darnold.
No.
Nope.
By the way, to that question, Zach, because I imagine Mike McDonald had some say, or at least his opinion was sought before they brought him to Seattle. That guy is going into the Super Bowl the quietest coach of all time.
I was about to say, I don't think I've ever heard him speak.
Is that a Seattle, West Coast, or northwest part of the country, and we're in Virginia and New York thing, or what is that? Probably.
He's also a pretty young head coach. He hasn't been around much. A lot of the older head coaches that have been around my whole life, I've heard them talk a bunch. But is this his second year or his third year?
Jack, you know?
For Seattle's head coach?
Yeah.
It's first or second.
I think it's his second. Yeah. I hope the final score is 99-2, but I'm not going to get that lucky.
I would agree with that.
All right, Rob, any other fun facts?
Nope. That was all of them.
All right. Do you want to take the week off next week?
Unless you want to talk about the Pro Bowl flag football game.
I definitely do not want to talk about that.
I'm going to give that a big
Did you see who got named a Pro Bowl alternate?
Shador.
Yeah.
Out of 696 seasons for quarterbacks with 200 or more passing attempts since 2000, the year 2000, Shador's season ranks 692nd.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl doesn't mean much.
He's a Pro Bowl
today.
alternate. Doesn't make any sense.
Did you see also Bill Belichick is not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Why?
He didn't get enough votes.
What?
So that's ridiculous. But the simple explanation is he alienated probably 98% of the.
Yeah, I was going to say he did not like the media, and I don't think they liked him.
I was going to use a bad word. I like the way you put it, Gilman, that he alienated. Yeah. So.
What? Go ahead. What word were you going to use?
I was going to say because he's a D. I mean, he's a
jackalope. Yeah.
He's a jackass. Yeah. I mean, he's just.
All right, we're still recording, by the way. So if you want to let things fly post recording, you can do that too.
Very good.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd also really appreciate if you'd rate and review us. You can find us at scodupodcast.com.